Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Brad Harrison Presents Urban Voices, where we tackle Louisville's current events from an urban perspective. We are the voice of the voiceless. Louisville is Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Welcome to another edition of Urban Voices. I'm your host, Brad Harrison. And I have a new co-host with us tonight. We have introduce yourself.
My name is Sanita. I go by Nene, though.
Sanita, what, no last name? We're being
Sanita Woolfolk.
Being discreet on the show tonight. Nene, welcome to the show, Nene. And of course, we got the veteran.
I am Sean Mucker.
Hey, Lord, we have a special guest in the house for you tonight, man. We have my man, Jeff Gill. And Jeff Gill runs a program called Hip Hop Cares, right?
Yes.
Okay, and I was scrolling. Me and Jeff are Facebook friends, and I see his posts from time to time, and I knew he was affiliated with hip hop. I actually thought he was a rapper, but I didn't know what he did. So first, can you tell the people exactly what you do as far as musically?
As far as music goes, I'm a producer. I produce music from R&B to hip-hop to pretty much anything. Just whatever inspires me. I really make music as a form of therapy. It's not really an outlet to make money or anything like that. It's just for the love of it. I've always had a love for music, in specific hip-hop. So
look, let me ask you, how old are you?
34.
34, okay.
Yes.
So how long have you been recording music?
Well, I actually started out as an artist. I started out as a rapper, and I started recording on tapes on a karaoke machine. I had one of the karaoke machines with the two tapes on it, and I would put an instrumental on one tape and a blank one on the other and record a track, and then switch it over and put another tape in to do my double ups.
So look, give us a guesstimate about what year this was.
That was say 99 maybe.
So
who's your favorite rapper at that time? At that time, Tupac.
I could see that. I was thinking that.
So look, the karaoke, deciding to do karaoke and then record vocals, was that just something you came up with, just brainstorming?
A friend of mine. Yeah, I saw him do it, and I was like, oh, word? It's like I could do that instead of, because at that time it wasn't, everybody had a hacked version of Pro Tools 10 on their laptop, and everybody could record. It was, you had to pay for studio time and all that.
Which is very expensive.
Very expensive at that time.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So shout out to you for using your brain, man, coming up with something. So look, you work with local artists, right?
Yes.
Anybody that you want to mention?
If I do that, I'm gonna have people mad at me.
For forgetting somebody. Well, look, any memorable tracks that you worked on that we may have heard of or we should remember?
Not really. No, not really.
It's the time to plug yourself.
I was thinking, you know what I'm saying? You can't come up with
it's the time to plug yourself, man.
You can't come up with like a song or artist that you would like to work with?
I'd like to work with Jack Harlow. I'd like to work with
pretty up and coming.
Ramel, what is his name? Ramel Wilson Weaver, I think it is. RM3, I believe he goes by. He's a really dope artist. I saw him on the Sprite thing. Oh yeah.
So look, when you make beats, do you have a preference of the type of beat you make? I mean, I know some people specialize, like say Mike Will, I'll say he specializes in trap music, and Dr. Dre specializes in a West Coast sound. Is there any particular sound that you specialize in, or you just kind of go in and go at it?
More orchestrated music. I like real sounds. When I make a track, I like to envision an orchestra being able to play it. So I use strings and natural.
You need to get with my man Jacory Arthur, 1200.
Oh yeah.
Do you know Jacory?
Yeah, the name it sounds familiar.
Look, he's an artist. He's a local artist here from Louisville, right? And you know what? I don't like using the term local. Right. I like independent.
Right.
Because I mean, a lot of people are don't have a major deal, but because of the internet, their music circulates outside of what we call the local area.
So why don't you just kind of call them an artist? That's what they are, artists.
Well, I call them independent.
Independent.
Yeah. But Jacory, look, dude, I actually wrote an article on Jacory before, and he's a high school teacher. No, he's not a high school. He's an elementary school teacher. Okay. But he graduated from U of L. He went through the program where he got his master's in like 4 or 5 years or something like that. Okay. But he went to school for music. And now he's an elementary school music teacher. And when I was interviewing him, I was writing about a young man from West Louisville getting a master's degree in 5 years, and that was the story. And he was telling me he was a rapper, and I hadn't heard him at the time. So he goes by the name 1200. Well, right after the article dropped, dude is like everywhere. He's everywhere. He's hanging out with the mayor, and the thing about it is when he went to University of Louisville, he was in the orchestra. So now he does this, where did I see him at?
I think they be doing Do 502.
They do that?
Yeah, they do.
But they do the show with the mayor for 4th of July. So, like, he raps, and he's on the stage with the Louisville Orchestra, and they play live instrumentation behind him rapping. Dude, it's dope to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, so y'all might need to get together, man, and jump in the studio and try to put something together.
Well, that would be nice.
That sound like you need to be the manager and orchestrate that, bro.
Jacory, if you're listening. But no, we have Jeff in here tonight, and Jeff is a hip-hop producer, but that's not why I have him in the studio tonight. I was scrolling through my Facebook page, and I saw a bunch of pictures, and they caught my eye. And it appeared to be, I don't know how many, I'm going to guess 20, 30 homeless people. And I saw these pictures of these guys giving out food. And then there was another guy that I knew, a guy named Benny Britt. Shout out Benny Britt. He was actually cutting hair on the street of a homeless gentleman. So I started scrolling through Jeff's timeline. I started reading it. And he has this program called Hip Hop Cares. And I think it's actually in the 34th week.
Yes.
And I believe every weekend, is it Saturdays? Sunday. Every Sunday, he goes out to, I'll let you tell where you go, but there's certain areas in the city of Louisville where homeless people, I think they sleep under maybe bridges or viaducts. I'm not sure exactly what you call them. But he goes out to these sites, and he brings food. Well, I'll let you tell what you do.
Okay. Well, what we do is we set up, right now we're primarily at First and Broadway. That's where we set up every Sunday.
Okay.
And we set up, get going about 12:30, and we run until 3 o'clock.
So you're right there by the Thorntons?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, right next to Taco Bell.
Okay.
And what's happened is through the past year, I've been at different locations. I've been at 2nd and Oak for several months. I was out Blue Lick Road for about a month. And then for about 5 weeks, I would pack up about 50 lunches and load up a cooler full of water, and I'd ride around the city and pass out lunches and water. And it was doing two things at the same time. One, it was helping people, obviously, but more importantly, I was getting a good idea of where they're most heavily populated. And
when you say that, you mean homeless people?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And there's a lot of like Wayside and the Healing Place, and they're all kind of surrounding that location. So I noticed that they'll kind of post up at the Tark stop right there. So I just decided to take a couple tables and see how it went. And the first week it did really well. I gave away about 50 lunches and
so wait a minute. I don't mean to cut you off,
No,
but
you're good. When
you're coming, first tell me what was the brainstorm behind it? What sparked this idea?
Cumulative things. It started about 3 years ago. I decided I wanted to start doing something for the community. For a number of years, I did a lot of not so good things for the community. I had a small amount of influence, and I abused it. In my music as an artist, I talked about all of the wrong things recklessly, and even in the community, I did a lot of selfish things, not really caring about other people. So when I got my life together and I started looking at things in a different light, I decided I wanted to start giving back. So my first event that I did for the community was it was a trunk or treat event at Wyandotte Park. And
what's trunk or treat?
They give out candy to the little kids on trick or treat, so they won't have to do so much trick or treating in the neighborhoods or whatever.
You sound like you went out to get some of the candy.
I mean, because you know,
watch him, Jeff. He's a big dude, man.
Man. When you're in the neighborhood, man, you know what I'm saying, you think about all the good things and positive things that goes on.
Okay.
So you know, when you have kids, you think of different ways where they can get a lot of candy without actually have to going out there and trick or treat with them.
Right. I'll make sure you didn't put the Yogi Bear mask on.
and a safety thing too. Not a lot of parents feel safe taking their kids out on Halloween night, and they would rather go to the park. And with a few other people, we were able to come up with some pumpkins funds, and it was a pretty nice deal. About 300 people showed up that day. Okay. And then I realized at that point, I can actually do this kind of stuff. So I've done different types of events. I've done family dances and different ideals like that. Some of them worked, some of them not so much, but it didn't deter me. So to fast forward, about 2 years ago, I started up an initiative called Hip Hop for Literacy, and I started collecting new and used children's books. And my initial intentions was to be able to set up daycares that couldn't necessarily afford libraries with free libraries, and as I get books, try to go in every couple months and either refill them or swap them out, whatever needs to be done. But basically the ideal of it, just about the community. It doesn't cost much. If you have books, you can pay them forward. And then, that was a little hard to get off the ground because not everybody has children's books and not everybody's so willing to do it.
So look, when you were collecting books, right, where would you start looking for books at?
Facebook. Just reach out to people on Facebook. I mean, social media is so powerful. So powerful. It's so powerful to me, I think, in my opinion, the schooling system should start implementing some type of social media etiquette at about middle school grade.
And that's a good idea because a lot of people are putting things on social media that they don't know can inadvertently affect their lives in a positive or negative way. So you need to know how to use this powerful.
Well, I think, that's what I was about to say, though. I mean, it's your choice whether you want to use it positive or negatively.
But I mean, for kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I mean, but they got an age limit for Facebook for kids, right?
Yeah, but still,
kids
12 or 13, they might not. At 12 or 13, you still might not understand the implications that that you could be,
I mean, you're on the negative part of it, right? I mean, I get it.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, I just started using the power of Facebook, and I mean, I still to this day, 2 weeks ago, I set up at Iroquois Park, set up a couple tables, gave away a bunch of books and water and coloring books, and I had a couple different people drop off some stuff like cups and rulers and stuff like that we give away, all in the ideal of just people donating stuff. It doesn't have to be money. It doesn't necessarily have to be time. Just small stuff. If everybody in the community can just do a little bit, whether it be when you go shopping, get an extra roll of toilet paper and donate it, pay it forward. When you pass up somebody on the street, give it to them. Don't be scared of them. Not all of them's bad. They look a little scary sometimes, and I don't recommend ladies and just recklessly walking up to homeless people, but yeah, I mean, be smart about it. But what I've learned is that they're most of them they're just in a bad spot,
right? And I don't think what I'm saying. Once you sit down and actually talk to a person, you realize that the person's not no danger. They just had a lot of hardship in their life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's another reason why I invite everybody to come down. Anybody, I want them to come down and shake hands and talk to the people, talk to the homeless folks. Give them hugs if you're comfortable with that. Just talk to them because the power of conversation is really strong.
How many veterans have you came across that's been out there?
Quite a few.
Quite a few.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, I've came across quite a few, and I mean, some of them have alcohol and drug issues, and they're just kind of stuck in their ways, and some of them are just in the process of getting back.
He asked you that because he's a vet.
No, I mean, no. But
thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you. No, I mean, no, because what I'm saying, that's a big issue that has came up here lately as about, what I'm saying, with the Kaepernick thing, and about veterans. And I feel like if you serve the country, you ought to be entitled to at least a house.
I agree.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Or a house and transportation because you're giving your life. When you run across it, a lot of when you come across a lot of the people that are homeless are veterans.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's big for me. You know what I'm saying? And
understandably so.
Right. Yeah. So I just wanted to know, since you do work with the homeless, how often y'all come across veterans, because that's something that needs to be looked at a little more closely. And legislate, I can't get it out.
Legislation?
Yeah, legislation needs to change when it comes to government
how we treat vets when they come home or when they finish
Right.
Their,
I mean, because
enlistment.
Yeah, enlistment and things of that nature. If they serve honorably, then they ought to be taken care of.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So let's get back to this Hip Hop Cares.
Okay.
So this week you were out. Was it First and Broadway?
Yes, sir.
So I saw the pictures of you on First and Broadway, and the one that caught my attention was actually Benny Britt cutting hair because it was somebody I knew.
Okay.
But now I guess. This is week 34. So I'm assuming from week 1, this has grown each week, right?
Oh, yeah.
So do you have volunteers coming out every week? Do you have people contributing items? How does this whole thing come together?
Yes. Well, one of the biggest group of volunteers that I have that shows up every week and does their own collecting, meaning they reach out to their people and their work and their churches and they bring everything in, and then they just come in on Sunday and contribute. It's not necessarily everything doesn't have to go to me personally. As long as it goes to Hip Hop Cares, as long as it funnels down and it goes where it needs to go, I'm all the way for it. It's not about me. I'm just kind of in a position, being the founder, that I have to speak about it and be the face of it.
So
right
about
now.
how many people do you think come out with you on the donating side or the volunteer side?
Volunteer side, between 30 and 40 a week that show up, and every week for the people that, because not everybody will show up every single week, and I don't necessarily expect people to, but on the weeks that people take off, I've been fortunate enough to have other people just kind of pop up and say, hey, I've been following you on Facebook, I wanted to show up, how can I help? And and get right to it. Or people just riding past on First and Broadway. I've had people just stop and say, I got an extra case of water, do you want it? And as far as donation wise goes, it would be really, really hard for me to put any type of number as far as how many people exactly help out, because like I said, I have all of the volunteers kind of do their own thing as far as getting stuff. And
that's what I was going to ask you. What all do you give away?
Well, we give away clothing, we give away shoes, food, which our lunches consist of hot dogs, chips, some type of snack item, whether it be fruit snacks or cheese crackers, something like that. And then actually Heitzman's Bakery donates a few dozen donuts every week.
Shout out Heitzman's Bakery.
Yes, they've been doing that for about 2 months now.
Now, where are they located at? We give them a shout out.
On Bardstown Road. I don't know the exact address, but it's on Bardstown Road. And they've came through every single week. I go by Saturday night and pick up like I said, several dozen donuts and go down, and we're able to give those out. And then we also have toiletries. We give them bags of razors, toothbrushes, toothpaste, soap, wash rags, and then we have the undergarments, which is socks, underwear. And then we do shoes, and we got the haircuts, and
so these are all items that your volunteers are collecting themselves,
or people that reach out to me and say, hey, I got a donation.
Okay, Heitzman Bakery is 3333 Bardstown Road.
Shout out Heitzman's Bakery.
Shout out Heitzman's Bakery.
Okay.
I got a question. How did you come up with the name Hip Hop Cares?
Well, it kind of stemmed off Hip Hop for Literacy, and Cares. What I felt like that kind of sums up exactly what the initiative is all about. It's just about caring. It's not about fame, money, getting anything out of it. It's just about caring. And like I said, it's mainly about helping people out, of course, but I also want to, if I can just change a little bit of the culture of selfish thinking, people just giving back to give back because they care or because they want to show some type of love. And honestly, I've been so thrown back by the support and the stories that I've received from people, and because WHAS 11 had showed up a few weeks back, just kind of showed up and ran a story, and since then, and then a couple other radio stations had given me shouts out and mentioned it, and it had brought a lot of attention to the cause. And I've been getting a lot of phone calls and people telling me their story and wanting to help out and all that. And I mean, it's a beautiful thing. But here's what I'd really like to see happen, though. I'd really like to see the hip hop community specifically get more involved.
That would be dope.
Yes, because I've been getting a lot of involvement from people outside of the hip hop community, and then it's kind of like just left on me to represent that. And I don't want to necessarily represent that. I do, but I don't want to be the face of it. I'd like to have your Jacory Arthurs, shout out him if he's interested. I need spokespersons. I need people to say, hey, but in order to be a spokesperson, I mean, you'd have to at least give a couple weeks or something, show that you actually care about it and you're not doing it just for some publicity.
Have you ever thought about setting up a GoFundMe account for the things that you did?
I'm glad you asked that question because I have a lot of people wanting to donate money and stuff like that. I decided before I came up with the name, I'm not taking money. I'm not taking cash. I'm not taking gift cards. I'm not taking none of that. And the reason being is, again, it ties in with I want people to understand that this can be done. You don't need to give money, and then it cuts out the ideal of, well, what's he doing with that? Because if you donate $100 to Hip Hop Cares and then you see me next week with a new pair of shoes,
you figured that's what $100 was.
Good for you. Good. Look, and the reason I say that is because we also do our own what we call our community service projects as well. We do the Black Saturdays, and we've been getting out doing that. And a lot of people have been asking me, why aren't we charging, or why aren't we setting up a sponsorship program or whatever? And I'm like, this is something that all of us are passionate about, and it's about giving back to our community. Right. And the reason we started that drive is because we don't have a check. Someone wealthy can write a check to someone and say, here, I can donate some funds to this cause, or I can help out, with monetary items. We don't have it. So, excuse me. So for us to get out here in the community and give ourselves, that's all we have. So I definitely salute you for not taking cash. Yeah. And my co-host Nene over here, she's been silent tonight, but give her a break. It's her first week, but she's one of the driving forces. I'm not going to say she's the major driving force behind the Black Saturdays movement. Nice. Without her, this thing wouldn't even be up and running.
Salute that cause, by the way.
Appreciate you, man.
That's nice.
I appreciate both of the causes because it's actually showing something that's doing positive for the community, when so much negative going on at this very moment.
Right, and division, and people love to divide. Yeah. And that's another beautiful thing about Hip Hop Cares is that it doesn't matter race, religion, any type of background. All of that goes out whatever door you leave when you come down to help out with Hip Hop Cares.
I mean, and you kind of exemplify that because hip hop is known. Well, not now, but hip-hop originated as somewhat what people would consider a black art form.
Absolutely.
And you're a white guy. You know what I mean? And you're involved in the culture. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't know. I'm old enough to remember that white guys have been involved with the culture since day one. You know, Rick Rubin was involved with Russell Simmons at the beginning of Def Jam. That was a co-venture. But
Beastie Boys.
Yeah, that was all under Def Jam. Right. So, but you having this Hip Hop Cares movement and being a white guy shows that this is completely colorblind. You know what I mean? This is completely colorblind. Now, I want to get back to ask you about, and I know you can't put a number on it, but about how many people do you think you feed or service on a Sunday?
For the past 2 weeks, we've went through 250 lunches in about an hour and a half. And that's
250?
250, and that's one lunch per person. So they're usually gone by about 2 o'clock, and then we have another hour of people still showing up. And so I would say 250 to 400 a week.
Okay, so now tell me this. I know doing this program, there's been a story or something that has moved you. Give me a memorable story from either talking to somebody or something you've done for somebody that they appreciated and it really moved you. Give me a memorable moment from this situation.
We talking about something that brought you to tears. We talking about something that brought you to tears.
That's really tough because, and this is the God's honest truth. I'm not just saying this. There's at least one instance every single week for 34 weeks that I've done this that has nearly brought me to tears. Because I actually talk to people. Like I said, that's important. It's very, very important. Shaking hands, having a conversation with them, asking them how they're doing, and they share with me, and they give me stories and reactions. Here's a for instance. Maybe 2 weeks ago, a gentleman had asked about a pair of shoes, specifically 13s, and he had on a pair of the sandals with the strap going across the top of the foot. And I just so happened to have a pair of 13s in the back of my car. So I asked him to walk over there with the volunteer, Chip, that had actually donated those 13s, and we got him some socks, and he put them on and then put the shoes on. And I've never seen a guy that was 6'4" jump as high as this guy jumped when he got them on his feet. I mean, he literally, he grabbed me and almost picked me up off the ground.
So that was from excitement?
Oh yeah. Like, he was almost in tears. I mean, and that's one of those moments, man, because he went on to say, I've been walking around in these sandals for 2 weeks. I mean, could you imagine walking around the city streets for 2 weeks with no socks and sandals with the strap going across the top? I'm sure his feet was killing him. But, I mean, it's just small instances like that. When they put them new shoes, even if they're used, when they put them on, it's this past week we were able to get a wheelchair for a gentleman. He was riding around in a wheelchair with the front wheels were literally gone. He was just riding on the plastic, and we were able to come up with a wheelchair for him.
You're doing a great thing out here, Jeff. Man, you're doing a great thing.
I'll take credit for founding it, but I can't take credit for putting it all together. I have to shout out all of the volunteers, everybody that's ever, since week one, donated clothing, shoes, coats, food, toiletries, time, anything. It's all about everybody that's done anything and the people that haven't done anything that will in the future. It's all love. We're not going to stop. So whenever you're ready, and come on down, we're going to keep it rolling. Actually, hopefully in the next few weeks, we're looking to get another one set up in a separate location, same day, same time, same stuff being offered. Just a different location. Hopefully we can get 2 or 3 of them up and running in the next year. And that's based off of how much feedback we get off the community and how many people we can get involved.
So with that being said, why not be the face of it? Because you created it.
Honestly, I'm not really too comfortable with the spotlight. I'm more of I can just play the background. I'm cool with people not necessarily mentioning my name. I don't thrive off of attention or anything like that. As long as the objectives being accomplished, then I'm all good with it, with everything and how it goes.
A true producer.
Right.
A true producer.
But I mean, as it gets bigger, because obviously it's going to really expand and get bigger. So, when you say hip-hop cares, your name, Jeff, is always going to be associated with that. So you're going to always be in the spotlight.
Well, not if I can get more of the hip-hop community involved, and I can get some of these people that thrive off the attention and need that attention, and because that's what artists need. I mean, if they ain't getting attention, then how are they gonna make it? I mean, if they're really trying to thrive in the music business. But in the same sense, I'd like to find those same artists that actually care, and aren't all about self. And
it's a good look, because at times hip hop gets a bad rap.
Yes.
And unjustly at times.
Yes.
Sometimes it deserves it, but I guess we hear more about the negativity than we do the positivity, and that's going to be just with media in general. You know what I mean? So if you hear 10 bad stories, you automatically throw hip hop under this negative umbrella. You know what I mean? So this is a good look for hip hop. But what I'm concerned about I'm not concerned. This is a question I have. Mm-hmm. When you're out there, mm-hmm. What are the age ranges? Are there young people that are homeless as well?
Oh yeah. I mean, we get people that have babies. and roll up in strollers. And yeah, oh yeah. I mean, we get kids, and that's why I make sure we have a bin. I keep a bin up there with like stuffed animals and little children's toys and stuff like that.
I mean, so I know some of these people that have kids may be in some of the shelters like Wayside or whatever, right?
Yes.
But are there actually kids that sleep under those viaducts as well?
Yes. Actually, one family that this little girl, I believe she turned 4 weeks ago. She had her birthday party at our clothes closet. You could go on Facebook and go back a few weeks, and because every Sunday I make sure to update and keep people posted, because I've had people reach out and say I love watching how it grows. So I like to keep people updated. But getting back to it, this little girl, she had her birthday party, 3 years old. But yeah, they live in a tent, in a camp. So
now look, I know you talk to people. Mm-hmm. So when you come across people that live in the tent, right? Mm-hmm. Is this a preference as opposed to not going to one of the shelters, or what's the situation with that?
Well,
and I know everybody's different, but I mean, there are some people that actually prefer to be out instead of going into one of the shelters, right?
Yes. Oh. And one of the biggest reasons that I've been told is because they don't treat them like people. And now, if it's them just saying what they think I want to hear, I don't really know. But, I mean, I take people for face value, and I look people in their eyes when I'm talking to them, get a good read. And most of them seem 100% genuine. And I can feel that, because they'll tell me about the rules, regulations, and all that about. And I understand that the shelters they have to have certain rules and regulations, but one of the biggest things feedback-wise that I get as to why people don't go to the shelters is because of the way they're treated. And that's why I said it's important to shake hands and hold conversations, because they usually don't get that through the week. They get, kind of cold-shouldered and I ain't got nothing for you type deal.
Okay, now what about, which I know you can't implement, but do you ever run across people that are in need of medical care that you would advise to go seek a medical attention?
Yes, actually, one of my volunteers, her name's Kelly Kugel. She's a nurse or EMT, I believe, and she comes down. And when she's down there, she checks blood pressure, she checks vitals and whatnot. And if they have any cuts or whatever, she cleans them up and bandages them up. But I've only had one instance where there was a guy, and he was at the clothes closet and getting some stuff, but he had ventured down in front of Taco Bell, and this really this kind of bothered me a little bit. I actually made a video about it because it bothered me so much. But the guy, he was starting to overdose on spice. I found this out after whatever, but he was seizing up and shaking and all that, and we had to call an ambulance and get him some help. But before he left, he made sure that he let me know that he smoked spice and whatnot. But I mean, it was just about talking to him. I didn't call the police on him or nothing like that. I didn't want to get him locked up, just get him some help, because that's what a lot of them need. But I mean, it's hard for me to really say this, but just from the outside looking in, I feel like the system needs some fixing in regards to the drug addicts and whatnot that are on the streets.
So the system needs to put more, whether it be funds or attention, on the homeless problem that we have.
Yes.
And Louisville's not, I mean, and I don't want to downplay it, but I've been in other cities where, I've been out in L.A. where, you're out on, what is it? I can't think of the street now, but you're out on it, and there actually are cardboard boxes with blocks and blocks of homeless people. So I would think a city like Louisville should be able to throw more focus. We don't have that type of homeless problem. We have a homeless problem, not that type of homeless problem.
Right.
So I think that's something.
I think if you have 1 or 10, it's 10 too many.
Yeah, it's definitely
I mean, because my perception of it is, we got all these boarded houses up in the community, where, we could take it a step farther and, start opening boarding houses or something, because, winter's coming. Mm-hmm. And it get cold in Louisville. We get snow.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, we need a couple of safe places or something. At least offer a bed. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere to come in to get out the code.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, because like when you're out of LA, there's literally so many homeless people that I can't see the funds being available to fix that problem, right? But here in Louisville, I think this is a problem that we can tackle if they put some attention on it, because you know. The funds are here. The funds are available. We just had, what, a $20 million surplus? You know what I mean? So funds are available to conquer this problem.
I mean, you know, sometimes we got to get away from the infrastructure, you know, the bridges and the Yum Center and all these other establishments, you know, the old mansion, and start giving back, you know what I'm saying, and start with the people at the top.
Well, I mean, but in the meantime, we don't necessarily need to wait on them to change anything, because we have quite a bit of wealthy people in this city that it would be nothing for them to buy a bunch of them houses that are boarded up, and they can write them off on taxes. You know, all of that can go back.
And you know, that's the point that I was trying to make, is that we need, you know what I'm saying, it starts with everybody. You know?
Right, absolutely.
I love the name, Hip Hop Cares, and I think cares is the most important word in the whole hip, not taking away from the hip hop part of it, but you know, we need to start showing people that we care.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay, so before we let you go, I have one more question for you.
Sure.
I know I know you run into all different type of social and economic problems when you're dealing with different people. What are some of the main reasons that you think contributes to homelessness?
Job loss. And that's number one, and medical issues, which kind of contributes to job loss. You know, a lot, I'd say about 40% of the people that open up and talk to me, what it boils down to is they had some type of injury, or spouse died, and they couldn't afford the payments. They ended up losing everything. They didn't have family or friends, and they ended up on the streets. And whether it be they wandered here from a different city or state, because we get a lot of those too. But I mean, that would probably be the main reason that I've came across as to why they're homeless.
Okay. Well, Jeff, we want to thank you for coming on the show, man.
Thank you for
before
having me.
You leave, it's Hip Hop Cares. Give people the information, how they get in touch with you, how they can volunteer, participate in the movement.
Okay. You can look it up on Facebook. It's Hip Hop Cares 502. You can look me up on Facebook. It's Jeff Gill 502. And
spell it for him.
JEFFGILL 502. And if you need anything, feel free to reach out. Again, I want to stress that I invite and encourage every single person in the community to come down on Sunday.
Okay, now give us the time and the location.
12:30 to 3 at First and Broadway under the overpass. And that's rain, sleet, snow, doesn't matter, we'll be there.
If people are deciding to come down, the type of items that you prefer them to bring down?
Well, I prefer for people to reach out to me beforehand and let me make sure, you know, bag everything and get it all together before we take it down, because if I get a bunch of donations dropped off on Sunday, it gets a little chaotic. And, you know, I mean, I'm not against that. If that's the only way people can bring it down, hey, bring it down. But they can bring clothes, shoes, coats, gloves, hats, bags of ice. We always need that. Cases of water, and pretty much if anything else, then feel free to reach out and I can let them know.
Okay, so if people are bringing these items to you ahead of time, for you, what would be a comfortable time frame for them to bring it? I mean, would it be by Friday?
Saturday's cool. Actually, Saturday is when I can ride around and pick up everything, and that's when I kind of get ready for Sunday. So as long as I've got everything by Sunday evening, I can put it all together.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up, man, for Jeff Gill. This is Hip Hop Cares. You can catch him every Sunday from 12:30 to 3:30?
12:30 to 3.
12:30 to 3, First and Broadway?
Yes, sir.
First and Broadway. Man, I definitely salute you for this movement. I appreciate you for coming on the show. I'm going to try to slide by this Sunday and check you out, man. And
thank you.
I'll get with you before Sunday and see what I can donate to the cause and come down and see if I can do a couple live feeds for you as well. Hip hop community, this is my challenge to you. if you care about the city of Louisville and you care about hip hop, come on out here and help this man. He's done wonderful work by himself, but he can do so many more things with the help of the community.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jeff, man. I appreciate you coming in, my brother. All right, let's get back to it. This weekend we had the World Fest here in Louisville. And I got to check it out. Nene, did you get to check out the World Fest?
I did get to check out the World Fest for a quick second. It was a nice event, though. It was a lot of people. I've never been, so it was a good experience. Yes.
Hey, I'm going to tell you something that impressed me the most about the World Fest this year. I went down, what day did I go? Saturday. I went down after our Black Saturdays. And I went to the World Fest. And it's bigger than I've ever seen it. I remember just a few years ago, it barely took up the concrete on the Belvedere. And this year, it covered the grass. It covered the grass all the way up to the waterfront, like the grass to the left of the Belvedere. Excuse me, covered the grass to the left of the Belvedere. And it also went as far over as the Muhammad Ali Center. But that wasn't the part that impressed me the most. Well, the food impressed me too. I'm a big eater, so they had I got some food from Guatemala. You know what I mean? So I don't know what it was I ate, but it looked good, so I grabbed it. But they had food from Guatemala.
Did it taste good? That's the question.
It tasted great, dude. It was great. We had food from Cuba. They had food from Mexico. They had food from everywhere. Everywhere from Africa. Well, I don't want to say Africa because it was Nigeria, Ghana. They had booths up. They had purses. They had dresses. They had all type of things. So I got me a Louisville Built hat too. Shout out to my man selling those Louisville Built hats.
I see that.
But that wasn't what impressed me most about the World Fest. I'm walking around eating my food, and after I ate like a brother, I had to use it. So, wait a minute. So, look. So, I'm walking around, and I'm looking for, I didn't want to use the porta. I got to think against those porta potties. I don't want to use the porta potty. Sure. And, I mean, so I decided, I looked up to the Kentucky Center for the Arts, and I saw people coming out. So I walked over to the Kentucky Center for the Arts, and I walked inside looking for a restroom. When I got inside, they had the dopest event going on. They had this thing inside called the Deaf Fest. So you had people that were deaf. They were having the World Fest outside. They were having the Deaf Fest inside. So you had the entire, I didn't go upstairs, but you had the first floor of the Kentucky Center full of, I don't want to say deaf mute, and that's the wrong term.
Hearing impaired.
Hearing impaired. Good save, Nene. Good save.
I was about to say the same thing.
Hearing impaired. And everybody was hearing impaired. So they were speaking inside. They had a shirt printed out that said Deaf Fest 2016. They had events going on inside. I thought that was dope.
I actually walked into the same thing.
It was great, wasn't it?
It was very interesting.
Yeah, it moved because I was like,
where are the pictures at? Y'all take pictures?
I didn't want to take pictures.
I was going to the restroom.
Right,
and I didn't either. Pictures. But I asked this. Well, see, I went in the restroom, and I didn't really know what to. When I went in the restroom, I didn't realize it was a Deaf Fest at first, so I came out. But I started talking to dudes. I tried to talk to a guy in the restroom, and they were deaf, right? But the cool thing about it was they were able to communicate with me by reading lips and kind of by body language, whatever. Man, they were friendly. It was cool. I mean, we got the point across what was going on. It was dope. And I thought that was a great part of World Fest. You know what I mean? So that stuck out to me. But yeah, man. So I got my hat. You saw it on Facebook?
It's on your head.
Oh, it is on my head today. Yeah, I got my Louisville Built hat on, man. So I bumped into the guys at they're a local company. They sell these clothing. They have a clothing brand called Louisville Built and Kentucky Built. And I wanted one of those hats, so I saw his booth and I grabbed one. So I think the guy's name was Cortland Davidson, and I grabbed a hat. I was happy about that too. And it was my first time using the little swiper on your cell phone, so I was kind of.
I have one of those.
You have one? Wow. What is it? Square?
Square reader.
Yeah, I've seen them, but I've never actually swiped my card in it. So.
It's the easiest thing ever.
Yeah, it was cool. So I got the hat.
Welcome back to the world, Brett.
Yeah, yeah. I had a great time, but I enjoy events. You know what I mean? So, look, Saturday was great for me, man. So, we did our Black Saturday. Shout out to my Black Saturdays crew. Every Saturday. Look, and I tell people, I had to explain to someone on Facebook because a lady took it the wrong way, and she responded on a post from the Needs Repeats article I wrote. And for those of you who are just tuning in or do not know what Black Saturdays is, Black Saturdays is an event that myself and 5 other members from the Louisville community put on. And every Saturday we visit a different black business in the city of Louisville. And the reason behind it is that 7% of Americans, 7% of businesses in the United States are owned by African Americans. That's a very small amount. At the same time, you have the poor African American communities that are suffering from rates as high as 51 to 57% unemployment. And those numbers are, they say unemployment or underemployment. And those numbers are, last time I checked, I think they were for black males between the age of 17 and 25, but there still are massive amounts of poverty within the poor black community. Well, that's kind of a double negative, but there's a lot of poverty in poor black communities. So instead of us deciding to sit around twiddling our thumbs, we decided that a lot of these communities lack economic development, and instead of waiting on the government or some other major corporation to come in and provide jobs, we're kind of encouraging the black community to be entrepreneurs, and we're encouraging people to support the entrepreneurs in that community, and hopefully that will help these businesses strive to be greater than 7% of our current economy. So we go out to a different black business every week. We do some we advertise for a week on Facebook. We do some live feeds when we get out there. We try to drum up a couple hundred people, and we try to bring people out to support these businesses. So I have a crew that helps me, man, and it is great. Nene, she's the driving force behind. I came up with the Black Saturdays concept, but behind the scenes, Nene is like the manager / supervisor / scheduling coordinator / everything involved. So it actually takes a lot of stress and a lot of pressure off of me, and it makes these events flow very smoothly. But anyway, we did our Black Saturdays. We do this every Saturday from 1 to 4. At local businesses, and we're booked.
Varies.
Yeah, it varies. Yeah, it varies depending on the crowd. But we are booked up now until December.
We're actually booked to December the 17th. We're taking a 2-week break, and we have one booked for January the 7th.
Yeah. So
how do y'all determine which businesses that y'all visit?
Good question.
Well, we choose the businesses based off of, usually we check between us. A lot of times somebody utilizes the business. We don't just choose any businesses. We do go based off their customer service. We do look at their Facebook pages and see how they react, how people react to them and things of that nature. And a lot of the black businesses are simply, they just don't have exposure. So we choose small ones as well to make sure that we help them gain exposure. And we choose different ones as well. We try to choose different businesses, different styles of business, like we have a spa on now.
We do.
We have a spa on January the 7th.
Right, because a lot of times you think black business, you think barbershop, beauty shop, and food, right? And we have everything. We have restaurants.
Automotive.
We have automotive. We have spas.
Consignment shops.
We have consignment shops. We have all type of businesses on the schedule, Cakes. Yeah, we do.
Can't forget about
I see. I see y'all, man. Y'all just trying to eat free, ain't y'all? I know y'all.
We actually don't eat free.
No, we don't eat free. We actually
buy it.
Yeah,
we buy the product too. Like
we do.
Saturday, I'm getting my oil changed and my brake pads done. See, so I'm supporting the business as well.
And what location is that at?
We're at
Bermundo's Automotive.
Bermundo's Automotive at 5800 Fern Valley Road.
$15 oil changes.
Yeah, I have to check him out. I know for sure I need an oil change.
$15 conventional oil change, none of the special stuff.
Yeah, so we're out there, man. And the thing about it is that this is all voluntary. So there's 6 of us, and we're all volunteering our time. We don't accept any cash, any money, any donations. We're doing this all on our own and out of our own pocket, so it's kind of special.
So have any other businesses turned y'all down that y'all have contacted?
No, not one business has turned us down.
But I also want to shout y'all out. I seen y'all made the news, man.
We did, man. Shout out Wave 3. They've been following the movement, and they've been showing love. They came out on they actually invited us to the station to do a story on Black Saturday. And real quick before I forget, I want to let you know that when we come out to these businesses, the reason is that it's actually a threefold reason. In our community, there's a small section of our community that doesn't like to support each other. So we're trying to change the mindset of the people that don't like to support ourselves, right? At the same time, we're hoping that just by showing someone how to support a black business, it will also create black love. So if that creates black love, hopefully that will deter some of the violence that's taking place in some of our communities as well. Now, at the same time, we have a PR specialist named Tiandra Robinson. She's on our staff, so not only are we trying to patronize businesses, a lot of times you get a business that's a startup or a grassroots business, and they've never operated as a business before. So they might not be familiar with business practices, or they might not be utilizing their services to get the
full exposure and things like that.
Right, or they might be marketing themselves wrong, or not marketing themselves enough to get maximum exposure. So we have a PR specialist on our team that can also work with the business owner to target some things that will help increase their business or make their business more friendly to the public. So that's something we're proud of too. But back to the story. Hold on. I went to Black Saturdays, then I went down to World Fest, and I went to the Deaf Fest. Then when I left, my man Shane Antonio has this, his show comes on after ours. So in about 10 minutes, Shane Antonio's live DJ show was on the air. But I didn't know. I read his Facebook page. I talked to him in the studio, and he mentioned from time to time that he was a comedian. But I hear comedian, and I see that in front of everybody's, name on Facebook. Look, we went out. He invited me to a show, and I can't remember the name. Shane's gonna kill me, but he invited me out to a show, and it was at this place in the Highlands called the Bardstown. It was like a little bar, right? Mm-hmm. So when I go into the Bardstown. It's like a little saloon type setting downstairs, and upstairs they do like this live theater. So we go upstairs, and I'm gonna try to find. Can you pull up San Antonio's page while we're talking? Are you friends with Shane? If not, you need to friend. Okay. So on his page, the profile picture is the actual name of the performance that he did. So it was a religious based performance, but it was like a spoof of religion or kind of pointing out questionable pieces of religion and kind of making a little poke at it to make you think. It was humor though. It was a comedic act. What was the name of that? God-Forsaken. So I'm sitting here waiting, and I go in you go upstairs, and they have the theater part. It's real small, holds about maybe 25, 30 people, if that. But it's real cold. I like that, because for a theater, you're up on the stage, and it's cozy. You feel like, you're one with the stage. So I go in, and Shane's performance comes up, and this dude is great. I mean, this was probably one of the best theater / comedic performances that I didn't expect it. I'm sitting there like, that's on me. You know what I mean? So I wanted to film it because I'm a big Facebook Live person, and I have my girlfriend with me. She hates when I do that or whatever, but I'm a big filmer. But I didn't, because I didn't know the etiquette, because nobody else was filming. So I was like, I don't know if it's proper or whatever. But I went out, man. Shane, man, hats off to Shane. It was a scripted performance, about 30 minutes, not too long. Tremendously funny. I'm gonna tell you, his performance reminded me of the guy that hosts the Daily Show now. I don't remember his name. Whoever's hosting the Daily Show now. Well, his performance reminded me of his style. So it was great, man. I had a great time. So my weekend, it was cool. So I did Black Saturdays. I hit World Fest. I seen God-Forsaken by 11:30. I was in the house. I stopped at the taco truck. Hey, the taco truck's best tacos in the world.
So who owns the taco trucks?
Hispanics. Is a Mexican. Like around my house, I live out in Fern Creek. Right. So there's there's like taco trucks literally every corner, right? Dude, these are the best. The tacos off the truck are the best tacos you can ever eat. You'll never go back to Taco Bell.
I promise you, I got somebody that probably a little bit better.
Okay.
It's dude just sell Korean tacos.
Korean tacos? I'm down to try. I didn't know Koreans made tacos,
but it's called a traveling kitchen.
Okay, I've seen that before. I've seen that.
I'm telling y'all, in tacos.
So what meat is in Korean tacos?
Bulgogi meat.
What's that? Goat?
I'm not for sure.
Bulgogi.
No, it's bulgogi.
I just said it because it rhymes with goat. I don't know what bulgogi meat is, but I'm down.
I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying, that these dudes.
Hey, look, there's another dude that rides around the city. It's called, he has a food truck. It's called the Irish something, right? But dude wears a kilt, and that's what brought my attention to it. You know, he wears a kilt. And I'm like, I got to try. No, now, who wears kilts? It's not Irish. What nation?
The Scottish.
Scottish.
Brother, man.
No disrespect to the Irish. Scottish.
Brad, I'm not eating nothing with somebody wearing a kilt.
Dude, but that's their culture, dude. You know
I mean, I understand that, but
and he's a man. He's a manly man, dude. For real.
I'm quite sure he is a man.
He might make the best food ever.
Dude, it looks good. It looks good. I see him downtown. I see him all over the city.
Shout out to Boss Hog
Shout out
Barbecue.
to them. We're gonna get to them. We're getting to them soon too.
Boss Hog Barbecue. I'm telling you, that them cats.
Well, we're gonna quit announcing people. They got to pay. They got to pay for the sponsorship. You know, it's not free advertising. I'll just tell you about my weekend.
You know, went on this World Food Fest, so you know what I'm saying. We got to shout out the independent food trucks.
Independent.
Yeah, well, we don't want to get in trouble on the station. You know, what I mean, we giving away too much free advertising. They got to pay the bills too. But look, that was my weekend, man. So did anybody else have a great weekend?
Great.
Yeah. Or interesting weekend.
I mean, you know, my weekend is reserved with the little ones. So, you know, I'll try to spend as much time with the little ones as possible because I do so much during the week.
Right.
See, my weeks are free. I mean, had a little party, made a little bit of money, went to the World Fest for a little bit, went to the Q-Dog party.
I heard about that. I wanted to check it out too.
Yeah, bought a ticket, but it was outside. I feel some type of way about buying a ticket, and it was outside.
Oh, the party was outside?
Yes.
So it wasn't inside the Gillespie?
You can walk inside the Gillespie, but you can walk past the Gillespie, and everybody was outside. The DJ was outside.
So ain't that, no disrespect, you know, maybe, ain't that something like going to Coles?
What, the Q-Dogs?
Yeah, I mean, you said there's a party outside.
She's talking like on...
I was on
Market?
downtown.
Okay.
You were on Market Street, huh?
Right. I was right up the street from the food fest, actually. So it's
you were on the sidewalk?
Yeah, it was right there on the sidewalk, right there outside.
I guess they wanted the Q-Dog stomp on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was outside, though. So we bought tickets, but, you know, it was outside. But that was pretty cool. They just ate TGI Fridays.
Well, this weekend, you know what? I think they have. I'm gonna check it out too. They have something going on in the Highlands called some kind of festival in the Highlands this weekend. I think it's the Highlands Fest or something.
I know there's a couple of concerts coming up this weekend.
I'm sure you know.
We got the Highlands Fest, and then they have the Gaslight out in J-Town too.
I've never been to the Gaslight.
Oh, it's great.
I heard good things about it. I ain't never been.
It's great.
A matter of fact, you know what? I think a couple of weeks ago they had the little zombie.
They did the zombie walk in the Highlands.
Yeah, they do that. I saw that a couple of years ago. Yeah, it's not really my thing,
No,
but I saw it. It was cool.
I seen pictures. That's all I needed to see.
So Nene, we're going to put you on the spot since this is your first official week as a member of Urban Voices. Can you introduce yourself to the audience?
That's plain. I mean, really introduce yourself saying more than one sentence. You know, you might have to tie a whistle around you to talk.
Well, I am Sanita Woolfolk, but I go by Nene. I work in the health insurance industry for now. I have degrees.
Okay. Just throw that out there. I'm an educated black woman. I'm an educated black woman, in case you're wondering.
I got degrees.
I have my own business as well.
Shout out to you.
So what is the business, Sanita?
I was trying to keep that out there.
It's kind of.
I was trying to keep that part out there. I was just.
It's in the
Candy Burst business. That's what we're gonna say. Candy Burst.
Okay,
right.
cool.
Yeah. It's adult products,
right?
So
it's adult products. Yeah, I was just trying to keep it cool on there.
Right.
I mean, I like talking. Actually, I'm just not big on hip hop. A lot, you know, so.
Are you not big on hip hop?
I'm big on it dancing wise, but I'm not big into the hip hop area.
I mean, because you've been dancing since you.
I have been dancing, but that's all I do is dance. Like I don't really. I know the Beastie Boys are, but like outside of that, like the things that you all were talking about, kind of, you know, I was taking it in. I was listening.
So you're an R&B fan?
I'm very much R&B.
Okay.
A lot of R&B.
Okay.
You can give me R&B all day.
So this is the milder side to our testosterone.
I can't tell you much about hip hop artists. I just know a couple of songs here and there.
Wow, for real?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, trust me when I tell you, she's a great person. She, her expertise in the professional field has actually helped my movement a lot. So she's a very good asset to this program. So, and she has degrees. So so when she speaks, she knows what she's talking about.
When we mess up words, we're gonna look for Nene to correct us.
Hey, look,
I'm not an English major.
Hey, look, this was funny because look, in the Black Saturdays movement, right? We were doing an interview on Wave 3, and I was going to introduce everybody, and I started thinking, I was like, man, everybody else has I have a bachelor's degree. The other people have master's. I'm the dumbest person in the room.
A degree is a degree, as long as you got. I mean, any degree. We owe. Just think about it. We owe Sally Mae more money than you do. Yeah. That's how you think about it.
Yeah.
You're saving
I paid her
yourself
today,
right
actually.
there. I'm deferring Sally Mae as long as I can.
Right. Can you say deferred?
She has career student, maybe.
All right, look, it's time for us to wrap it up. You listen to another episode of Urban Voices. Check us out every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. on 100.9 FM Crescent Hill Radio. We're out.
Peace.
We're wrapping up another edition of Brad Harrison Presents Urban Voices on Crescent Hill Radio, WCHQ 100.9 FM, where we tackle all of Louisville's current events from an urban perspective. Next up is Shane Antonio, One Night Only. I'll see y'all next week, folks, and Louisville loves you.